Hello, classmates and teachers. In today's presentation, I'll be discussing the life of Django Reinhardt, a Roman French guitarist and composer who is one of the most influential artists of all time. Without formal training, Django created a new style of music called gypsy jazz. This style of jazz influenced many of the popular guitarists that came after him, and has especially influenced the American version of jazz music. Django was born on January 23, 1910, in Lièvre, Pointe-à-Caux, Belgium. But he lived most of his young life in the outskirts of Paris in an area called the La Zone. His family was a part of the Romani ethnic group, who are also called gypsies, and gypsies alike were a part of his town in the La Zone. He chose not to go to school and was someone who free roamed the streets as a child. He did things like steal chicken, listen to music, and play games, like most kids do. Django was deeply into Romani culture, and his outlet for expressing the culture was through playing music. He started to play instruments like the banjo, violin, and guitar. Through years of practicing, he later became a master of all instruments, specifically the guitar. He was considered a child prodigy, but in 1928, when he was just 18 years old, Django suffered a tragic accident. One day, Django was lighting a candle in the cavern and knocked over a candle, which started an extreme fire. He fell onto the floor and suffered numerous burns. The right side of his body was burned, and his left hand, the hand he used to play his guitar, was burned as well. For a year of his life, he was in and out of the hospital treating his wounds and ended up losing 2 of his fingers. Many thought that his days of playing were over, especially because he only has use of his index and middle fingers. But after many months of recovery, he ended up teaching himself how to play guitar again, only using the fingers that were spared from the fire. In 1934, he became a co-leader of the Cornet de Haut Club de France, a new group that he formed with violinist Stéphane Grappelli, who was influenced by many French artists. Stéphane is quoted stating, "My life started when I met Django. I realized when I was with Django, we can produce something not ordinary." The group toured across Europe and found great success, and they were highly prized by connoisseurs. The group expanded past Europe and visited America, where Reinhardt was invited to tour with Duke Ellington's orchestra. During that period, he was introduced to the electric guitar. He mastered it very quickly. Django's life was exposed to many different things and forms of music during his career, going to multiple countries that played different versions of jazz, playing with high-level artists consistently, and finding a whole new way to play his instrument due to his accident. This exposure allowed Django to be very experimental with his work and find new ways to make his music stand out. Despite touring with Ellington, he was not fully a part of the band. He played a few songs at the end of shows and was promised jobs in California, but they all failed to develop. So instead of waiting, Reinhardt returned to France in 1947 and went back to his gypsy lifestyle. During his time with the group, Django was deeply affected by World War II. Him being a part of the Romani ethnic group made him a target for the Nazis. Also, jazz music was seen as a very bad thing by Nazis because of its ties to American culture. But instead of being fearful, Django continued to play during the time Nazis occupied France, and his fame did gain him some protection. This was a true testament to his resilience and love for music. Here is a short 30-second clip of him playing. Listening and watching his videos helped me understand the level of genius it takes to reach this tier. Django died from a stroke at the age of 43, but his influence reigns on forever through guitar and sound in general. Thank you for your time.